And the audio is on jwebershow.com. There's the extended version with Earl in it, and then there's just her rant, which is just golden. It just is. Ian in Oak Creek here on WISN.
Good morning, Mr. Weber. How are you doing this?
I'm doing well, thank you. Better after that.
You can tell by my laughter, I think you understand where this call is about to go. Sir, I grew up on 28th and Meineke. I grew up in one of the worst parts of the city, and I'm a black person. Now, for some of my opinions, I've been called to sell out. I'm no stranger to that. So I'm just going to go ahead and break it down and explain why you have the problems that you have on the north side of Milwaukee. Because I've lived there, and I grew up there, and I've dodged bullets, literally there. The reason we have the issues on the north side, especially with the young black men and women, and I'll go to the top for you. You have a president who sounds like a 1960s oppressed black man, and you don't have the leadership with the moxie to step up even on their side and say, you know what, enough is enough. We have no moderate Democrats, and that's part of the problem because this is what the young people see. Mm-hmm. My second point is a very simple one. There's no accountability whatsoever. It's always someone else. It's never the person's fault that did it. And I'll give you an example to prove my overall point. There was, I believe, a 2-year-old that got hit on the north side of Milwaukee by a vehicle. One of the family members of the 2-year-old comes out, accidentally shoots and kills the brother of the 2-year-old and the person that hit the car. Instead of being mad, and I'm not justifying the shooting, obviously, but instead of being mad at the person that let the 2-year-old run in the street, you go ahead and shoot a guy who accidentally hits the 2-year-old. That's the mentality on a smaller scale, but it's part of the wider problem. Mm-hmm. The idiocy on that side, just it's ridiculous. And until we start opening our minds up, and it's not just about a political party, but it's no coincidence that the president sounds like a complete and utter moron at times. Gets a deal with Iran, doesn't get it signed, and then you have the same people that vote 96% Democrat. Mm-hmm. They don't care about you. I said this on Miss McKenna's show. The Democratic Party thinks that you're stupid, and they show you, like Tom Barrett making the comment he made today about Milwaukee being safe. Come on. I'm sorry, I went on a little long.
I wasn't going to interrupt you either, Ian. But then you have somehow this notion that it's really the police officers that have the problem in these communities.
I work with the police officers all the time. Yeah, right.
There might be some bad ones, but they're few and far between. And these are the people that are trying to help in these communities. And to have them become some sort of political problem when we refuse to address the real problems is very frustrating.
They're a scapegoat, Mr. Weber, but you have to do that. Look at their side. You have to have a boogeyman. You have to say that, you know what, the conservative party, you guys shouldn't vote for conservatives or Republicans. I'm like, why? Well, because they're racist. Well, it's just like Tom Sowell always said. Ask them why, how, what facts do you have, and what cost. They can't do any of it. So when I talk to these people, and I'm the minority, and I don't mean by my race, I mean in a lot of my opinions. If you went to my Facebook page and you see some of the things I have on there, Mr. Weber, or you listen to my YouTube program, you would laugh at some of the comments I get and some of the emails. And I go back, and believe it or not, I've actually talked to certain liberals and a percentage of them, and they're like, okay, you have a point. Because I ask very simple questions. They have no facts. They act on emotion. Just like the police officer in Oklahoma. Did you hear about that? The guy that was running, he got shot, and the police officer accidentally grabbed his gun and he was going for his taser. Mm-hmm. The false narrative came out already. Police shoot another unarmed, innocent, saint-like black man. When that wasn't the case, the guy was a suspected arms dealer, and I'm not justifying his death.
Right.
You know that. But what I am saying is it was an accident. It was unfortunate. But like my friend Colin Slattery always says, and he did a book called Don't Make the Black Kids Angry, he broke down how the media goes out of its way to not report some of these crimes. And I'm talking about, and Earl said something too that was asinine, black people attacking white people. Milwaukee is one of the most segregated places in the world for people. Like people always say that as an excuse. But the truth is, there's a lot of black mob violence in our city against white people. It happens all the time, and it's amazing to me that people don't get it by now.
Well, and when it does happen, even if it was just the gangs of wild and kids, and when it does happen, the racial element is quickly dismissed, which is just ridiculous as well. Look, I'm really late, but it's important you keep doing what you're doing, Ian. Thanks so much for the call.
Thank you so much, Mr.